In this episode, we're going to be looking at the Darkhold, aka the Book of Sins, aka the Bible of Black Magic. I'm about to blow your mind, so buckle up, Buttercup. Most of the Elder Gods in Marvel Comics were evil and wiped out by a Tum, aka the Demogorge, except the evil Elder God Chthon, who escaped to another dimension. Chthon created the Scrolls of Chthon before he left Earth. They contained all the knowledge he had about dark magic. The Darkhold is the bounded book form of the Chthon Scrolls. Chthon set it up so if you're magically skilled enough to read the scrolls, which are now the pages of the Darkhold, he can come back to Earth in a new scary form and possess anyone who reads it. Way before Scarlet Witch had it, the Darkhold was kept in Atlantis when Atlantis was still thriving. A warrior king named Cole decided to kill a sorcerer named Tulsa Doom. Tulsa Doom's followers, the Darkholders who kept the book, used the Darkhold to create Vernay, the very first vampire. The Darkholders tried to control Varnay, and he feasted on them to create a race of vampires. Atlantis was eventually wiped out in the Great Cataclysm, which I'll cover in a future episode. After that, there were islands that still existed from Atlantis, one of which was Avalon. That's where we get King Arthur mythology, and it connects us in the MCU to the Black Knight and the Ebony Blade. A sea princess, which is basically a witch, Morgan Le Fay, becomes a villain and tries to use the Darkhold to release Chthon to do her bidding. Chthon was way too powerful for her to handle. Before he could be fully released, she took his essence and trapped it inside of Wanda Mountain. Years later, after World War II, a character named Eric and his wife Magda had a daughter named Anya. Anya was killed by townspeople, and Eric developed superpowers and killed them. Magda got freaked out and ran into Wanda Mountain, not knowing she was pregnant with twins. Eric is actually Magneto. The twins are actually Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The comic books have changed the story over time, but thanks to the MCU, we can point to the multiverse and everything's candid. Inside the mountain, Chthon was keeping tabs on Wanda since she was born. Chthon granted her a bit of his own power so that when her power began to develop, she could eventually use one of the more powerful magic types, Chaos Magic, which is what we started to see in WandaVision. Chaos Magic can manipulate, warp, and reconstruct the fabric of existence and reality to the user's very whims, and bring about total destruction to the cosmos. That's why Scarlet's going to be a huge factor in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness alongside the Darkhold. Darkhold plays an important role in the Midnight Suns series as well, which I talked about in an earlier episode. We'll do a deep dive into the Midnight Suns next time. I'm curious to see who's going to get the Darkhold after the Scarlet Witch. Only time will tell, but if the MCU decides to release Chthon in their world, it's going to be crazy. That's it for this episode. Please subscribe, give a like, leave a comment. Keep reading comics. I know I'm gonna.